Namaskar. I will begin from where Agnimatra ji ended her iteration, and I will take up this thing about population and demography. Uh, when I was in Calcutta, the the demography was one in every four people was a Muslim. If you look at the 2011 census, it is one in every three is a Muslim. And I am convinced that if the 2025 census happens, then we'll find that it has further changed to one in every two people is a Muslim in Calcutta. So that has been the kind of demographic change in the capital of West Bengal. We are talking about Murshidabad, but Murshidabad is basically just another milestone in the gradual collapse of West Bengal into communal violence, into targeted violence. So you can just Google for it and you will see a long list of place names which have seen communal violence, targeted violence against Hindus in West Bengal over the last 13, 14, 15 years. The Murshidabad violence stands out for, as Swapan explained, the kind of people who came looking for Hindus, the brazenness with which mosques were used for calling upon people to turn out and sort of gather for action, and the manner in which the police virtually abdicated its responsibility. The police, at least making its token presence felt, would have been a different story, but here they just didn't come out. And the Calcutta High Court's team, which went there, they came back and said that the local TMC people were directly involved in it. And Mamata Banerjee still insists that whatever happened in Murshidabad was done by the BJP. Now, how exactly does it square up, but who is to argue with her? The media in Bengal has been totally emaciated. In Calcutta, which had a very vibrant press, every newspaper has now become a pamphlet for the TMC. More than the TMC, it has become a pamphlet for Mamata Banerjee. And there is a strange fear. Journalists don't even want to talk about politics in the state, and they just refuse to meet you even if you ask them over for a coffee. So what is it that has changed? What has changed is the extreme level of violence which has become the mainstay of politics in West Bengal. And that is being used to prop up a government that should have been booted out long ago. Some years ago, there's a place called Deganga. It's a border town. And some years ago, the Hindus of Deganga were told that they can't have their Durga Puja over there. And the Durga Mandap could not be used for it because they decided what they did was they built a wall and they included the mandap in what they called was the burial area, burial ground of Muslims. the man who led the violence against Hindus, Hindu houses, it was almost similar. Hindu houses were marked out. The mobs went and ransacked the houses. They attacked women. They burnt clothes so that women would have no clothes to wear, and they attacked young girls. And the man who led the mobs went on to become a TMC MP. He died a few months ago. But that is the kind of political patronage that exists. Why Sandesh Khali? I mean, why did Sandesh Khali see this kind of violence against women, exploitation, forcible grabbing of land by Shahjahan Sheikh and his associates? The demography of entire Sundarbans has changed radically. And it has, I mean, people say that it is now clearly a Muslim majority area. So we talk of infiltration through the border, but a lot of infiltration is happening by way of the estuaries, because we share our estuaries with Bangladesh. And Bangladesh has never invested in patrolling their part of the estuaries. So a lot of Rohingyas have come in that way. They have landed in the Sundarbans and traveled up and then beyond. Sundarbans, they had something, a local deity called Bon Bibi, which was an invention of a Muslim, not exactly a peer, but a community leader. So the story goes, he was childless. He went on Hajj, and while in Mecca, he had this dream that he should go back and create this thing called Bon Bibi, which would protect people from the tigers of Sundarbans, and he would beget a child. So he comes back, and lo and behold, he begets a child after introducing the concept of Bon Bibi. Today, you will not find any Muslim talking about the Bon Bibi story anymore. And here, the direct contribution has been by the Islamists who have been given access to go and preach over there. And they have, as expected, what they have done is they have gone and changed the socio-cultural aspects of life over there. The biggest player in this has been the Tablighi Jamaat. Now again, when we talk of the Tablighi Jamaat, we do not look at the actual impact on the ground that follows Tablighi Jamaat camps or preaching camps in various parts. If you go to Jharkhand, the amazing change not only in the demography over there, I mean, it was a tribal majority place. Now it is not a tribal majority place, and Muslims, people say that the census is likely to show up almost 20% Muslim population over there. And the Tablighi Jamaat targets Jharkhand year after year, year after year, year after year. The Tablighi Jamaat holds multiple camps in Sundarbans year after year. The Tablighi Jamaat holds camps in Siliguri. And look at the change in the demography of Siliguri. Who would have ever thought that a town which was largely, it was part of the tea garden supply chain, and then subsequently after partition, it became a town which was dominated by Hindu refugees from East Bengal, East Pakistan. That is now almost a third of it population are Muslims. Now, where are these Muslims coming from? So there cannot be an episodic response that elections are coming. Therefore, I will go and try to clean up the electoral rolls. I will try to take the illegals out. And then there will be a lot of political controversy. No, it doesn't quite work that way. It has to be a continuous process, and the state has to be mindful of the fact that citizenship has to be enforced, citizenship laws have to be enforced. Most of India does not know that there has been several important changes in citizenship after last year's act was adopted by Parliament. And we don't see that the impact of that anywhere, at least it's not visible. So the question arises, should the state government alone be responsible for this? Now, of course, you can always say that the state government can play spoiler. For instance, nearly 450 kilometers of the border between Bangladesh and India remains unfenced because the West Bengal government has refused to give land for the fencing to happen. So, is there any way that the government can be forced to give that land? That just because the West Bengal government is refusing to give the land doesn't mean that the border has to remain open. This is not only about West Bengal, this is about India. The other thing which I wanted to talk about, West Bengal was created, of course, as some sort of a shelter for the Hindus of Bengal, undivided Bengal, because when it was clear that East Pakistan would happen, the whole idea was that Hindus should not be left at the mercy of the Muslims in the eastern part of the province, that it should be broken into two parts, and the western part should be for the Hindus of Bengal. And that is how the partition happened over there. But between 1946, when the Great Calcutta killings took place, the direct action day killings, and today, it is a continuous process. It was not a one-time partition that happened, unlike in the West, where it was a one-time partition. Partition happened, very bad things happened, but then it settled down. In the East, it's a continuous process. It's continuing. And every few years there is a fresh exodus of Hindus from Bangladesh. Before that it was East Pakistan. Before that it was East Bengal. And this is linked to the scale of targeted violence against Hindus. This historical reality needs to be acknowledged. And unfortunately, the refugee memory of what happened after partition, that they were not really welcome in this country. And Pandit Nehru, in several letters to then Chief Minister B.C. Roy, made it very clear that nothing should be given to the refugees. They should not be given free food or shelter. That everything should be done to send them back, force them back. India cannot afford them. And the worst part of it all, the East Bengali refugee, Hindu refugee, was labeled a permanent liability. Now, this was Nehru's definition of a Hindu refugee from the East. It's another matter today, Nehru's descendants are a permanent liability of the country, whereas the Hindus who came in from the East, they have contributed in their own way immeasurably to the creation of India as we know it today. A last point which I would like to make is about this new new theatre of the absurd which the TMC has started, specifically Mamata Banerjee, about language. They have decided that just because there is an effort to weed out Bangladeshis or Rohingyas from other states, that is an attack on Bengalis per se. It's not true. There are 2.5 lakh Bengalis who live and work in Uttar Pradesh. There are almost 1.5 lakh Bengalis who work in Gujarat. And I can go through the numbers state by state, but the whole point is that there are Bengalis who live and work. They earn their livelihood over there. They also repatriate money, and on that money, their families, their parents survive. Now, these are not jobs which Mamata Banerjee or her party created. And to say and to create this scare that there is an anti-Bengali sentiment sweeping through the country is very, very dangerous. It's absolutely not only despicable and reprehensible, it's also dangerous because it could actually spill over into anti-Bengali sentiments and violence in other states. I am a Bengali, I live in UP. I don't want people around me to get the feeling that I am a soft target. Or I don't want them to take out their anger with Mamata Banerjee on me. Now, what language is she talking about? I think it was Dr. Shukanto Mujumdar who posted copies of a question paper of some school or high school in Bengal. The question paper actually asks what is the right term, Baba or Abba, and then it says that Abba is the right term. So the language is getting Urduized. I mean, people, you come across Bengalis now who refer to, I mean, in Bangla, water is jol, but they refer to it as pani, which is the Bangladeshi way of referring to water. And if you listen to them, you will be able to find, you will know that this is not the language of West Bengal. Mamata Banerjee herself, her letterhead, has her name in English and Urdu. And she wants to talk about Bengali Asmita. In para after para in Calcutta, you find the signage in Urdu. That is Bengali Asmita. Urdu is designated the second language in West Bengal. This 21st July rally, there are photographs which show the one part of the stage totally plastered with Urdu slogans. That is Bangla, that is Bengali Asmita. So this pandering, this minorityism, this appeasement, it's something which should worry us all. It will not remain contained to West Bengal. If you think that West Bengal deserves to go this way, fine. But it will not remain contained to West Bengal. It will definitely spill over into Bihar, which has its own problem with border areas like Kishanganj. It will spill over into Orissa, where we have seen in recent times violence happening. Orissa is one state where you never heard of communal violence, but now you are beginning to hear of communal riots, or not riots, at least some violence every few weeks. It is going to spill into Jharkhand. It has already got into Jharkhand. It will get into Chhattisgarh, and from Chhattisgarh it will get into Madhya Pradesh. It's like cancer. And just as in cancer, if the surgeon is not ruthless in cutting it out, cutting out the tumor and ensuring that it does not grow back, that is what has to be done over here. But somehow the impression we get is that we talk, but we don't act. And that only emboldens not only Mamata Banerjee, but her associates who run riot every time they get an opportunity, like we saw in Murshidabad. And Murshidabad is just, as I said, one more milestone and it will continue. Tomorrow it will be some other place, third day it will be some other place, and it's unstoppable. So we must think about it. We must not do what the so-called intelligentsia of Bengal has done. They have capitulated, they have compromised themselves, and they are complicit. We need to speak out, we need to speak out strongly. This is not about parties, this is not about politics, this is about the survival of the Indian nation. Have no doubt about it. Thank you.